Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the show today with me. On the show, we have today Jeff. Jeff is the CEO of RepHunter. And Jeff, welcome to the show. I appreciate you joining today. Looking forward to have a great conversation with you. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and your company.
Thank you for having me on your show. And my name, as has been said, Jeffrey Simon. The company is RepHunter. And the question is, what is RepHunter? The best easy explanation is we're an internet-based company. We're like a dating site where the dates are between manufacturers and manufacturers' reps. So that translates into a matching service for these two classes of members.
And great. So, how can you explain the audience how do you guys connect your reps to the required companies?
Well, the way that it works is when we started the company, we found out that there's a gap in the market. My partner, we started this firm. He was an independent sales rep, and we found that it was hard for companies to find independent reps and hard for reps to find companies. So they needed a kind of a matching service that goes beyond a typical job board, which doesn't really meet the needs for specific reasons that we don't need to delve into. But there was this gap in the market. So we started out, and after we found the right business model, which is a subscription service, then we were able to start building our database quite rapidly and growing ever since.
Very nice. What led you to start this? What was the gap that you saw and that you thought that this would be something painful for the people that you're trying to solve?
Well, the pain point for our customers is that sales. They need to build sales. If you're a startup company and you don't have a lot of deep pockets financing you, you look at, well, how do we get people to sell for us? One way would be hire a national sales manager, hire sales staff, and ramp up our business. But that could be you're ramping up your business for 6 months to a year. And in the meantime, you have the overhead and the burden costs of the salaries and benefits for these staff when they're not selling anything yet because you're just getting started. So the independent rep channel is an alternative to that. The independent rep channel means you don't hire somebody at a salary. Instead, you pay 100% of their compensation is paid through commission. So they don't sell anything, they don't get paid. So it's very attractive to a startup company because it's low risk. You don't have to take on the sunk cost of investing in all this employment cost and before you're even started. So the question is, independent sales reps is a great way for new companies to get started. How do I find an independent rep? Well, if you go to the job boards, you will get inundated with resumes, but you don't want to hire anybody. You don't want a resume. You want an independent rep. So there's a gap. The gap in the market is that you might recognize you want an independent rep, but how do you find them?
Right. And are they based off contracts? Like, is there any minimum contract that the reps gets assigned, or how does that work?
Well, the way our system works is it's a membership-based system. So the reps become a member at no cost, but the companies, there's a way that they can kind of test the system, vet the system, find out if it's going to work for them. But once they see that it's going to work, then it's a paid subscription, and they will we will create the conversations and the communication, that's what we do. Our core competency is reaching the marketplace and then creating the conversation. And as a result of the conversation, they will enter into a contract. So they don't contract with us except to use our service, but they contract with each other. So a company that is selling, let's just say women's casual wear, which could include t-shirts and shoes and things, they're going to connect with the rep. The rep is going to have that they will engage with a contract. So they have a contract, and generally our reps are very experienced. Now, a company might be a startup, but generally the In order to be an independent rep, you already have to have an established track record of sales, customers, relationships with buyers, and so on. You don't say, well, I want to be a rep. Can I start? I just got out of college. Can I be a rep? No, you would have to go into sales and then work for somebody as an employee and then decide, I'm going to want to create my own business. I don't want to have a boss. I want to be my boss. I'm going to be an independent rep. And it's outsourcing your sales to this independent business person.
Got you. Excellent. So just curious, how do you verify that, they have the needed experience for you to connect? How do you guys do that check?
Well, what happens is the rep will create a profile in our system. It will describe their background, and basically, an independent rep doesn't really use a resume, although they can't because the world thinks in terms of resumes. But an independent rep will use a line card. Line card will describe who they've worked for and what they've sold. And it's a very abbreviated. It's much shorter than a resume. So the rep will describe that and then will be a member of our system. And as far as the background of the rep, we don't do background checks. But what happens is by being a member of our system and interacting with our members, they're starting to build a reputation within our system. And if somebody's been a rep for 20 years and they've been with RepHunter for 10 years, that's a pretty good vetting. This person has been successfully working with our customer clients for a long period of time, and it kind of self-vets in a sense. So RepHunter has been in business 25 years now. So when I say someone's been with RepHunter 10 years, we have 10-year members and we have 20-year members.
And what about the contracts with the companies? Do you have a subscription model that they follow? And is there a specific contract with the companies that work with you?
Yes, I think what you're asking is the contract between RepHunter and the company. In this case, there is an online contract, and some of our higher level programs have actually hard copy contracts, more legalistic mechanisms for putting the contracts in place where that would include our terms and conditions, what you are buying, what you are getting, what our terms are, and what are the conditions of using the service.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So when you talk about scaling, how did you find your first client when you started? What were your challenges and hurdles there, and how did you handle them?
There were definite challenges, and it took a while to get our business model straight that it actually worked. And once we did, then it took off. It was a struggle before we had the right business model. And since that was so long ago, the world is totally different. AI was not a thing 25 years ago.
Right.
So if you were going to try to replicate our business by competing against us, it's a huge barrier because we have this giant database of members that you would have to, deal with. But if you were a startup nowadays, you would kind of get an AI assist. You would say, how do I create a business model and get the AI business model? And how would I do this? How would I arrange it? How would I myself personally, as development work as well as run the company. And I'm always using AI as sort of it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it's a good tool. You almost sometimes think of it as a coding partner, somebody who can help you, but you could use that. What we did back in the day, we basically were running ads on other, like in effect, job boards we needed to build if you have no reps, you have nothing to sell. So we had to build up our reps. So we were using some job boards. We used one in the day called Hot Jobs. Hot Jobs is people still know about Hot Jobs, although it doesn't exist under that name anymore. It got acquired by several levels of acquisition, and it still kind of exists, but not under that name. So we had to build our database of reps, and the companies seem, in a sense, easier because they're looking for reps. They find us, they just come in. It's more challenging for us to build our database of reps.
Got it. Okay. How do you target companies today? Like, do you have a sales team that does it, or is it through reference or LinkedIn? How are you guys doing your outreach?
But we've tried a lot of different methods over the years. The core method been that has worked the best is just over the internet itself, which includes two main aspects. It's the SEO aspect, meaning our site is findable. You can type in find independent sales rep and our company comes up. You can go into an AI nowadays and say, what's the company to find an independent sales rep? We come up in the AI as well.
Okay.
So that is really our core. Now, along the way, we've tried everything from as far as TV advertising, radio advertising, print advertising, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these other things. But we're actually in a process of creating new methods of outreach that we've evaluated in the past, but we're going to reevaluate because with the new world, the social, we were heavily involved in the social networking in the beginning, but it wasn't really working as well. I mean, it couldn't compete with just the SEO and the paid sponsored ads, the pay per click. So it was really SEO and pay per click are the mainstay, but we now need to work into other social platforms. We have a lot of projects having to do with other social platforms at this time, which we believe is necessary to get to the next level.
So what are those? Do you mean LinkedIn? Is that
It would be like LinkedIn, Instagram, maybe Facebook, but really more Instagram.
okay?
Trade shows, we've worked with trade shows in the past. It didn't really pay off for us, but we're actually got some methods that now we believe will pay off. So working with trade shows, working with other online platforms, probably too detailed to get into.
That is something that is working for you, is what you mean, right?
It's starting to work for us. Some of these
Yeah.
other avenues that we're revisiting. The problem was in the old days, the other such as LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook, it was 10 times more expensive for the return. The ROI was just not there for us. Not sure why, but
Yeah.
we're now getting ways where it is going to, that it should work better for us.
Got you. What are you looking like for the rest of the year? What is your plan to scale?
We have plans in a number of different areas. We have some technical requirements where our infrastructure is migrating. Uh, we've thought about different projects with AI, such as AI avatars, AI searching. We have pretty good searching inside our website, but it's not like what people expect. It's not like as good as a Google search. When there's reps are searching for companies, the companies are searching for reps. We may queue up an AI enabled search to do that in place of what we have now. But in
Nice.
addition to the technical stuff, we have one of our concepts is podcasting. It's kind of like we say, hey, we're the best kept secret and we're the experts, but we're the best kept secret. So we need to build our brand through
Yeah.
podcasting. So podcasting, video, social channels, trade shows, things that I've kind of mentioned along the way. These
Yeah.
are kind of what we're looking for in the next year.
Okay. Very good. So can you tell something more about the podcast? I mean, that's the new thing now, right? The product-led companies are able to sell better than sales-led companies because they want to showcase their product. They want the customers also wanting to do some trial and see how the platform works. They want to see that there is a right value addition or not. So the podcast method, the interview method is very popular now. If you see across the industry, not just anywhere, it's more of a thing how people want to share their products with the clients. So that is
Right. We feel that there's two aspects to that. The first aspect is educational, just to inform people what is the independent rep channel. A lot of people come to us, they really don't have a clue
yeah.
about what the rep channel is, how it works. So we have some of our services that we deliver have to do with, we use the term rep ready. We say this customer is rep ready or this customer is not rep ready and
Mhm.
they need our service in order to get them rep ready. Now,
Yeah.
so that's an educational thing. Podcasts, videos can play into our ability to reach the people. It's really you're not selling us as much as selling the rep channel. So
Yeah.
I say there's two sides. One side is selling the rep channel is viable for you. Here's how it works. Here's why you should consider it. And then secondarily, you say, now you've decided you want to use the rep channel.
Yeah.
Why would you consider RepHunter to
Yeah.
find your reps?
Right. Kind of you showcasing the value addition that you bring to them and how it will help with their cause. Very good. Excellent. So any challenges that you faced while scaling to where you are now that you would want to share and how you overcame them?
Well, we've had challenges of keeping up with the technology.
Yeah.
Our website is in need of another refresh at this point. So that's a challenge. We've had some challenges with just getting the connections with reps
Yeah.
because a very simple example. If you want to use cold email, you can get a list of companies and people who might use independent reps.
Right.
But if you want to do cold email for reps, how do you cold email? These are individuals. It'd be
Yeah.
almost like cold email. It'd be like if you were on a job board or an employment service, it would be how do you cold email potential employees? Well,
Mhm. Yeah.
nobody's figured that out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more challenging on the rep side.
Very interesting insights. Jeff, if people were to find you, how do they reach out to you? What are your social presence? If you can share your website, LinkedIn, email.
Well, the best thing for somebody to get started would be to just go to our website, which is at www.rephunter.com, or just remember RepHunter and type in RepHunter. Like
Yeah.
it's like Headhunter, except they're reps instead of
Reps.
heads.
Yeah.
So RepHunter.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then in link, you are in LinkedIn also there, right?
We have a page on LinkedIn under RepHunter, and we're going to be expanding that. So it's not something we're pushing at the moment, but we do have a presence there. We have a YouTube channel
Yeah.
for RepHunter, but we're not pushing that as much right now. We're just leading with our website, www.rephunter.com.
Thank you for joining today and sharing the great insights with the audience. And definitely, I will share and people will reach out to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Nalendra, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate the opportunity.